So, welcome to my summary of learning for EC&I 831. So before EC&I 831, my knowledge was pretty limited. I was an active user in Twitter. I'm an active Facebook user. I'm starting to use a little bit of Instagram at the beginning of the class, and I still only use it on occasion. I am a consistent creator of YouTube content. Of course, I consume copious amounts of YouTube. With regards to open education, I create a lot of content and I give it away for free to all the teachers who need it. I have had teachers in my experience that gave me so much, and it's only logical for me to reciprocate by giving away most of my knowledge. At the beginning of the class, before EC&I 831, my knowledge was fairly limited. You could put all my knowledge into this little pocket. It's a very rudimentary pocket. It's my first creation in my major learning project. It's not very big and I can't put much in it, but it was a beginning, it was a start for my knowledge. We started off by talking about social media and our kids. I learned about TikTok. I had no idea what TikTok was. Its origin from China, the idea of how popular it is, and that really blew my mind. Visco, its impact on, especially on teenage girls, Visco girls, the whole idea of the addiction of Snapchat for the kids we have. I've witnessed it in school, but I've never really grasped the impact, the vastness of the impact it has on our kids. Really the impact of YouTube and how it's really transformed our world. It's brought education to the masses. When you really look at it and you really study it, it really shows the value and the possibilities by opening up education and the whole idea of connecting through social networks and social media. So those are some new things that I learned with regards to social media and our kids.
It was very valuable to learn. We'll put this new knowledge in my first real learning project, my pencil case. And this is my first project from a major project. So my knowledge, with my previous knowledge, is starting to build something pretty nice.
Later on, we went to explore network learning. Network learning was really interesting. The whole idea of the jelly bean challenge and counting the jelly beans and the wisdom of crowds, I thought was really interesting. But the idea of the power of crowds and expanding knowledge, when you want a question, you throw it on the internet, and more often than not, you can find that answer. And that's really, for me, really valuable as a teacher for our students. And that's really cool. How our role as teachers has really evolved. And we used to be a harbinger and a transmitter of knowledge, and now we're more of a curator of information and more of a guide to deciphering the value, the risks, the potential of all this limitless information that we can find on the internet and through social media, through all the tools that are available to us. We need to start helping students navigate this sea of excellent, good, bad, and really ugly stuff out there, and help them navigate this world of social media to help them, to prepare them, and to help them make good decisions with that information that's presented to them. So network learning.
It's a little bit of a summary of what I learned with regards to that. And we'll throw that in my pencil case again, as I think I have enough room in my first project. Our next big subject is
making learning visual. We explored different tools for learning through the use of technology. We evaluated the benefits and the drawbacks of the use of technology in the context of education and the classroom. We looked at Wakelet, which is a new tool that I hadn't been aware of during the class, and that's starting to really snap together, and I'm finding new uses for Wakelet, and that's really awesome. We used through different little Chrome extensions, the distraction-free tube, that was a really good one. uBlock Origin. I had heard about ad blockers, pop-up blockers. I never really taken the plunge to install one, and this class really provided me the opportunity to do it, and I can't believe how I live my life without it. It's really changed the way I consume media, which is really cool. We tried different tools for creation and management. I looked at Screencastify, which was pretty interesting. Of course, I started using Flipgrid. I even suggested Flipgrid to certain teachers in my school. I started looking into doing podcasts with applications like Anchor FM and Zencaster. So those are all little things that we learned through making learning visual through network learning. That was really powerful and really useful for me.
So I'm going to take that knowledge, as well as all the previous knowledge, and I'm going to throw it all in my second project, which was this little pouch, this Adam Savage pouch that he had designed. And we'll throw it in here. So this was my second major learning project, and a little bit bigger, a little bit more complex.
We started talking about open education and how, you know, opening up education really can transform a society. We explored the idea of Creative Commons license, and as a matter of fact, this bag here, the pattern that I used from Adam Savage was actually published through a Creative Commons license, and free for use and remix, and for sharing, as long as for non-commercial purposes. So it was really fun to be able to apply the concepts I learned in my class through this project, and the next one too, which was also a Creative Commons one. We talked about the idea of remix culture.
What I did here, this is actually a little bit different from the one that was in the pattern, so that was really interesting.
And the idea of, there's no need to reinvent the wheel in education. We're taking things, we're modifying it, we're changing it to better adapt to the situations that our students are in. And that was really, really important for me. It really helped me. We don't have to reinvent the wheel. Adapt it to your own needs, adapt it for the needs of the students. We had a guest presentation from Mino Rami on her work with Minecraft for Education. At the beginning, I was really skeptical about Minecraft. I wasn't too sure about its value in education. And the recurring discussion about Minecraft as an educational tool, started looking around, starting to have a little bit more research in it, and it really shifted my perspective on the value of a virtual world in education. And of course, all the great work by Dean with his series Coding with Agent that he started posting on Twitter really, really changed my mind. And I'm looking forward to maybe adding a little bit of Minecraft in my pedagogy in the future. So
we're going to take this knowledge that I gained and we'll add it to my bag once more.
The next big section that we learned was open educational resources and open educational practice. And that one was really a game changer for me. It's a concept that I had in my mind, the idea of opening up the classroom and having everything transparent, but I hadn't really developed a vocabulary and a language to describe it. We had the presentation from Dr. Roberts. She put words to my thoughts, and that was really great. My world as a teacher, how it was transformed with open educational resources. Wikipedia is a perfect example of something that's really changed the way education works. We evaluated a bunch of open educational resources, OpenStax, which is one I really liked. We looked at Merlot, which is kind of like a sharing site for different resources, which is really interesting. And one that I really enjoy and that I think I would like to see more of is the Open Courseware Consortium. So kind of like the same idea, it would be really interesting to see that in Saskatchewan. I participated in a project for Computer Science 20 in developing an open resource for that. The more I use open resources and the more open my educational practice is, the more I see the value in it. So the idea of exploring that concept was really important to me, really gave me a lot to think of.
I'm going to add that one to my bag here. And finally, coming towards the end of the class.
One of the last big topics we talked is social media and the idea of social justice. What is citizenship, and the whole dichotomy between online citizenship and real citizenship, and how with social media those lines are blurring. The idea of the online life and the real life is starting to become intertwined. And we talked about the idea of the impact of social media and different things such as social justice, major social justice movements. We're talking about the Me Too movement, the Ice Bucket Challenge, the Arab Spring, and how those movements and the awareness generated by these movements can really impact society and can have a really big impact on where we go as a culture. We discussed the place of this social justice and social media as a tool, and how do we incorporate it in our classrooms, and how do we use our classroom as a means to advocate in activism for different initiatives. And that one I really struggled with, but having that conversation was really important for me, and it really gave me a perspective that we have a responsibility as teachers to work towards creating a better world. And the way we do that is by at least talking about it, and at least opening up that world to our students and helping our students find that information to make good decisions to make strong, sound decisions and guide them as to not fall into the traps of fake news and misleading media and whatnot. So that was a really valuable learning for me.
So I'm going to take that, and I'm not going to fit it in this pouch, but I'm going to fit it in my final project, my final learning project, and throw it in here, my big one. And now I have a lot of room.
My major learning project, my project, if you couldn't tell by now, was learning how to sew. So I started with the pencil case, I made the pouch, and then this guy, which is the EDC 2 bag, the Everyday Carry 2 bag by Adam Savage. Once again, I remixed it a little bit, I changed the design a little bit, and as you can attest by my first little pouch, I just took a piece of fabric, threw it in the machine, and just to see what was going to happen. This project really taught me that open education is what made my learning possible. People online shared tutorial videos that I was able to watch to learn how to do certain things on this bag. I had to learn how to sew a zipper and how to how to do these straps, this webbing here. It wasn't easy. I had to rethread the machine, and sometimes it's not as evident, and people took the time to record it, to write an article, and to show how to do this. The plans for this bag are very, very minimal. There was a lot of questions, and I have almost no experience on sewing, and by using all those resources online, mainly YouTube, certain articles, and the knowledge of social media. I was going on social media, I could ask people who know how to sew, how to do certain things, and really the sky was the limit. Once again, this is one creation, and I would like to create a lot more. This class gave me the opportunity to learn those things. And what else did I learn? The context of blogging and sharing my process of learning is really, really enriching. You have that feedback coming back, and you have that consistent cadence of setting objectives and meeting them and setting new ones and modifying them and keeping on going. And for me, that was very valuable. And the idea of sharing your knowledge, sharing your process, is something that I'm going to bring back to my classroom by having my students blog and share their learnings. I learned to make achievable goals. You have to make things that you can achieve, set them just far enough that it's difficult, but not too far that you get discouraged. Discipline is key. Time was the enemy. You're always running out of time, but setting that time aside, you can get a lot of good things accomplished. And I'm really proud of this bag. I think it looks really good, and we got to be accountable to my classmates, and by keeping a growth mindset, which is something that was crucial. Adding comments to other classmates' projects is a really good example of open education practice and learning through social media and through the internet, which is really good. I'd like to thank everybody who participated in my growth in EC&I 31. Together we showed how social media and open education is without a doubt a pathway to more modern and effective education system for the society in which we live today. So I'm going to put all that in my bag, and I'm going to say thank you to everybody who helped me out, and of course our teacher, Dr. Kuros. Thank you very much.